What does the culture mean?
Creative way for us to display who we are.
Black excellence and originality.
Resilience, its beauty, and its strength.
My people to me.
Carefree.
Freedom of expression.
Anything that just reflects or just shows what blackness is.
Welcome to the culture.
Welcome to the culture. I'm your host, Jancelyn Huff. And if you haven't seen or heard about us, we're only a click away. For those who know who we are, and for many who still don't know who we are a show on UTVS that celebrates blackness and being a person of color. This is a safe space for us to show you us unapologetically. And lastly, you get to hear our voices loud and clear. So let's get right into it. The lovely voices that you will hear on this panel are
Courtney Chaney.
Jerron Williams.
Natalia Hiza.
All right, we're starting lit topics off right to give our condolences to hip-hop legend Nipsey Hussle, who was not only down for the people, but only spreaded positivity. He was recently assassinated. Switching gears, we will be discussing our reviews and theories of the Jordan Peele's movie Us. And then lastly, should they put Cardi B in the same prison cell as Bill Cosby? Courtney, we're going to get into this, and I'm really excited. So let's start with hearing the passing of hip-hop legend Nipsey Hussle has the whole world up in arms due to this tragedy. Nipsey was a man of the community and only spreaded positivity even with his gain of his popularity after his last album. But still, he remained the same. Celebrities spread their love and condolences over social media. And also, after his documentary speculated, this was an inside job from the government. Courtney, do you think that this was an inside job from the government, or how do we feel about Nipsey's death?
I definitely feel that it's not what we think it is. I mean, the man has been affiliated with, the gang life since before he, gained popularity. We all know where Nipsey Hussle comes from. And throughout his years of being gang affiliated, you haven't even heard a single instance of drama with him, with rival gangs or people in his same gang. So it's kind of crazy that when he started to really, really push about black entrepreneurship and Dr. Sebi and, learning about your health is wealth and, building his brand, he was coming out strong. He gets shot in military style. So that raises some flags.
For sure. Well, Jerron, did you see that they just posted the shooter and the person that killed him? What are your thoughts? It was a black man, so.
Yes, it's very disheartening, especially because this is a black-on-black crime. I have to agree with what Courtney just said earlier. We know about Nipsey's past with the gang activity. I also know that he was trying to bridge the gap between the Bloods and the Crips.
Right.
And it's a crazy case, and I feel like there's more information that's going to be coming out very soon, and we'll learn as we go.
Yeah.
But Natalia, what do you think?
I absolutely agree, especially because the same thing happened to Lisa from TLC.
Yep.
She died right after going to visit Dr. Sebi in Honduras. Yes, absolutely. And it's especially interesting to me that he was killed. He was assassinated military style.
Right.
That was a turning point for me. Because, when gang violence, they don't really care where they're shooting as long as you die. But military style is really specific to the body and the head. So that's where it really got me. But I think it's really sad that Big Pharma really doesn't want us to heal, but they just want to keep force feeding us an unhealthy lifestyle. But I think we as a people need to definitely keep Nipsey's legacy alive and continue what he wanted to do.
Right.
Courtney, what are your thoughts on people saying, oh, just because Nipsey died, now y'all want to be fans, now you guys want to rep his music? So what do you thoughts on that?
I hate that. It don't matter if you weren't a fan of someone, prior to them passing away.
Right.
Like, you're acknowledging that, you're being human about it. It's like, oh, dang, I really listen to folks, but, that's sad to hear. When somebody passed, it's like, figure out the other stuff. It don't matter if you're a fan or not. Like, at least they listening now. Like, especially with Nipsey, he owned his own master. So, keep listening to his music. If you wasn't a fan before, listen to it now. That's putting money in his family pocket. So,
which is what we need to keep doing. But after 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, his first successful movie, Get Out, Jordan Peele has not released his foot off of white people's necks after a huge 7 million debut of his new movie, Us. It literally shook the table, especially for Hollywood. But Black Twitter knew that this would be a hit from the jump. Without giving a huge spoiler alert, what are our thoughts on the movie Us, Jerron?
Well, if Get Out is more about racism, I would say Us is definitely about classism. The whole concept of having a tether was a really good concept to come up that Jordan Peele came up with. It scares me just psychologically, just walking through my house, looking in a mirror like, oh my God, do I have a tether?
I'll be looking like
So, yeah, he did a really good job with this movie, and I think if you don't get the message right then and there, you have to keep watching it, honestly, and that's my review on it.
For sure.
Very
I mean, a
solid.
movie so nice, I gotta see it twice.
hello.
Natalia, what did you see the movie Us?
I did.
Okay.
I
what were your
did
thoughts?
recently, like last night. But no, but I thought it was really good. It made me really look at the Bible differently, though. That's what really hit me for this movie. But I also really appreciate Jordan Peele's ability to cast an all-black cast. I appreciate every time, and I think it was interesting when people had a lot of backlash for him casting an all-black cast, and not only casting it, but also just like really putting it out there, like, yeah, I'm not really gonna cast a white lead. I thought it was interesting that
We've
people,
seen that movie.
yeah, we've seen
Right.
that movie before, and I thought it was interesting because people are getting on his neck about it, but they fail to realize some of their favorite directors and producers also refuse to cast black people. Yeah, absolutely. So I thought that's why I always give him an applause, is he always wants to give jobs to black people first, and I really appreciate that. So
For sure. Courtney, what are the hidden messages without giving spoilers?
No, forget it, because y'all had enough time to see this movie
Yeah.
right now. It's been like, what, 2-3 weeks?
2 weeks. and a
You
You
half.
know what? The Hands Across America, that one was good. I like the concept of that. I seen something on Twitter about the Michael Jackson Thriller. Because you know the
Yes.
little girl was wearing a shirt.
I saw that
And
the
it
first
kind of,
time.
the movie kind of mimicked the music video.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
was like, oh snap, you know, that flew over
Yeah.
my head. What else? I mean, obviously the,
The
tethered and the rabbits. What's the concept on the rabbits? I missed
So
this. Hold on.
basically, I guess in a survival situation, they say that it's not good to eat rabbits because it creates something called rabbit starvation because they don't have enough fat to provide the human body. And so because these people are underground, they're eating rabbits, they're starving themselves, essentially.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop
I
it.
caught that the first time I watched the movie.
I knew it sounds like, why these rabbits just here? You know, I'm like, they looking all
And they
creepy
eat
and
them
stuff.
raw.
They eat them raw?
Yeah.
Oh wait,
had
Cook
nothing to
Bunny
cook
is
the
light,
rabbits
but I don't know
in.
about
Yeah.
no raw rabbit.
oh,
What?
I think it's just so crazy, the whole, like, just the imagery and just seeing how, like, they really looked like, you know, each other, and just Jordan Peele outdid himself.
He's a
You know,
genius.
yeah, his movies make you think. Like, I still
Yeah,
like.
absolutely.
I want to know if there's a significance to like the gold scissors, like.
That's
That,
a
They
good
said
one.
there
Yeah,
was.
that's a good
I didn't.
one.
I'm sitting here like watching,
Because
and I'm like,
scissors are like, there's two of them. So there's two parts that make the scissors work.
But the color gold, is that tied into classism? You
Well,
know,
I'll-
it was making you think.
That was
making
making
In the
Yeah.
red jumpsuit.
and I think he does a really
Yes.
good job of that in his
Brown
The
work.
brown
Yeah.
glove was, the one glove was like in representation of Michael
Michael
Jackson.
Jackson.
Yes.
See, we piecing it together.
Jordan Peele, we're gonna go see another one of your movies.
Get Out, the U.S. Nobody.
No.
No, like
I
I'm talking
thought
about the first
like
movie.
the Get Out, and then,
then
Us is like Get Out
the
US.
US.
Come on, man.
You're right, you're right.
We'll see
What else? There was something else that was really, you know, that spoke out to me, and I think it was just how, you know, from the jump, Lupita just her character was off rhythm with the beat of the song.
She's like, get in rhythm. I was like, sis, you're
You're
not in
not
rhythm.
So I really think that you know, at the end seeing, you know, what happened, yeah, that it all made sense.
I
I
think
knew
there's
it.
something with the sun too, because
The sun.
The sun.
Something
It was
is there with the sun, of course.
definitely
I
something
feel
with
like
the sun.
So sick of
wait, let me
enough
ask you this.
enough
Okay.
spoilers.
Spoilers, no spoilers.
In the age of equality, it's really important, but it seems more than ever that double standards are at an all-time high. With rap mogul Cardi B at the center of controversial video that surfaced at the peak of her fame. In this video, Cardi explains how she used to drug and steal from men she picked up at the club, which sparked a debate on Black Twitter about how much we let female celebrities get away with. Now, Natalia, are you gonna say that Cardi B is in the same category as Bill Cosby or not?
I don't think so. Robbery and rape are two very different crimes.
Very different.
I think that she is wrong, and there's consequences for what she did. But to put in the same category as rape is harmful, and it's not right. And that's where it comes in for me. Like, it's not necessarily saying that she shouldn't be held accountable for her actions, because she should, but it's just that the accountability is going to be different than Bill Cosby or R. Kelly, because what she did was different.
Facts. Or would you say that it's different because she's a woman?
I don't think so personally for me, but I do see what people are saying when they say that there's double standards. I feel like it's really easy when a female star comes to play where people are like, oh, whatever, but this and this and this, they do it all the time, you know?
Right.
But I do think that she should be held to, if it was the same crime, she should be held to the same standard, because it's only right, you know? There's male victims too, and people fail to realize that, and it's something that really affects them too. So absolutely, I feel like.
Absolutely. Jerron, what do you think? Do you think Cardi B should get jail time, or what do you think her punishment should be?
I don't think she should get jail time. As wrong as, as bad as the things that she's done, I think that this is a situation where, like she said, she did what she had to do to survive. And not saying that it was right, but yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to say on that situation.
I understand.
Yeah.
Now, Courtney, do you think that obviously drugging her victims were wrong, but because of, you know, how rap artists rap about what they did or whatever, how do you feel there's a difference in that?
Difference in what? Like living out your your
truths?
lyrics and
Yeah,
stuff?
exactly.
So I had not really a debate, but I was speaking with some people about this. You know, when the whole Cardi issue broke out, male rappers specifically, tend to rap about, you know, stuff they did in their rhymes and whatnot, and talk about, you know, robbing people, killing people. Not to say that, you know, not all of them do it. Like, some people be, you know, just be writing the songs and they ain't never lived that lifestyle. But when it comes to what Cardi said and did, you know, it's like a double standard.
Right.
Because I seen people give her the pass or the benefit of the doubt, like, well, she ain't raped nobody, you know, like, we didn't say she raped them, or she didn't say she did that, but it's, you know, the principle of it. Like, she drugged people. She should definitely be held accountable. I mean, I don't know what that's gonna look like, because I don't see her going to jail for this, to be honest.
I personally think that she should have to, like, pay almost like reparations to those victims. Not reparations, sorry. That's what I'm saying. Like, she should have to compensate them for what she stole, because the ultimate crime was like robbery. She robbed them.
I think this whole thing is that everyone who's come forward, somebody else had came at that person saying, this is fake, like, you're lying. That's the thing. Like, there's really no true victims who have actually come out and said, yeah, Cardi did it to me. Because everybody who I've seen come out, every male, they got debunked right away. Like, they got called out for it. And then they said, yeah, you're right, I'm lying, to get some attention. Like, from what I see, I don't know, you know, the whole gist of it, but from what I have seen and what I've heard, that's where we at with this.
All right. Well, I totally think Cardi B is wrong, and I hope that they do get some, you know, compensation for her crimes. Now, coming up after the break, find out what celebrities have been sucking the culture out of us. We shed light on the culture vultures around Hollywood. Next, we'll take a moment to help bring awareness to colorism in today's world and how it affects us. And after, we'll discuss dating and or having a baby mother or father. And lastly, we'll talk about the divide against Africans and African Americans. You don't want to miss this.
National forests are essential to life, majestic and grand. They clean our air, supply drinking water to millions of Americans, and provide homes to countless wildlife. They fuel our imaginations and inspire us to think big. Now, our national forests need us. Fires and natural disasters destroy millions of trees each year. That's why we're replanting our forests from coast to coast. Visit arborday.org. See how you can help.
We're glad to see you haven't changed the channel or scrolled down your timeline. Welcome to our segment, Black Perspective, where we give you our honest opinion with each topic. There's some new faces here. Here with me now is
Savannah Tynes.
Oh, we got Josh Cobb here, reporting live.
And we still got Natalia. Well, let's get right into it. Prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. That is the literal definition of colorism. With that being said, we've decided to bring this discussion to Black perspective. Since this issue is not talked about enough, we want to bring awareness to it because it's still an issue in America today. Natalia, how do you think colorism has affected us today?
I think that colorism has put a divide between the community. I think that we have so many enemies fighting us already, and colorism is just another thing that adds to it, makes our life harder. But I think part of that also is it's really hard when you're already underprivileged to accept that you have some privilege. Right. And that's where I feel like some of the problem arises. And also just bashing one another, you know. I think colorism is just realizing that we just need to realize we are all the same. We go through the same struggles. And so instead of fighting us, let's fight the oppressor, you know.
For sure. Josh, I know when we were all younger, we used to hear the team light skin, team dark skin.
Yeah.
Talk to me about those experiences.
Man, you know, I mean, just like probably any other dark skin could attest to, it was definitely some tougher days being dark skin, just having the jokes. I think for me, it took me a while to really realize what was going on. But after a while, it kind of like was just a defense mechanism, just to talk back, do like the same jokes type of back. But now I think, kind of with like the woke trend and all that, I think we're starting to appreciate Blackness more. Absolutely. So we're starting to embrace dark skins. Like I've never seen this before. So I think now I'm not really with the woke. I don't like the word woke, but it's one of like the few like good things I've seen as a result of embracing our Blackness.
For sure. Did you ever hear the term like, you're cute for a black, dark-skinned dude?
Yeah, you get that. You get the lights off joke. Where'd Josh go? I can only see a smile. I look like tar. Man, just burnt biscuit. All that.
Okay.
All that.
Okay. We get it. I'm just kidding. Savannah, as you can see, we're both biracial women. Do you see maybe the privileges that we both get from colorism?
Mean, definitely. I mean, there are definitely societal benefits to having a lighter tone, but that doesn't mean that I am any treated any better. Because I mean, sometimes there are times where you can tell that people can see, you know, your skin color, and I think like what a lot of people don't recognize is colorism is a byproduct of racism. So I think that's why it's so imminent today, and it's so it's growing so much, because I think now since we have to have people of color now here, like we still, white people think, we still want them to look more like us. We still want them to look as close to us as they can. So I think we get it a little more, because I mean, nobody's ever called me a burnt biscuit, but people have called me not black enough, so I think there's definitely.
But I think that's a good point, like knowing that it's a byproduct of slavery. Yeah. Because I think when I think of slavery now, like now that I've been able to like learn more about it, I think slavery might be the most successful forms of oppression like in world history. Yeah. Just the fact that the issues that we're still enduring and we're still fighting today are rooted from slavery generations later. Yeah. And it's still prominent, it's still as intensified as it was when it was first like ingrained in us, and the fact that we still are being socialized about it in every generation is just crazy to me.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, I totally understand where you're coming from with the you're not black enough, because I've gotten that when I was outspoken about certain black issues that were happening, and I would get that all the time. Not only that though, when I was in high school, they had the, oh my God, light-skinned girls are so pretty, da 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 da. I would either get, that would hype me up a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, I took advantage of that. But most of the sometimes I would get the, okay, well you're light-skinned and you're not pretty. So I got both of those. Damn. So yeah, it was rough.
Wow,
I was a little chubby girl in high school, and I got that, and it goes both ways. But I do see the privileges of being light skinned, so that's why I created the show, because I was getting the stuff that I was getting from UTVS, and not saying that's because I was light skinned, but definitely, I mean, Josh.
You still know what it feels like just black, you know?
But
like
then, so what do you guys feel about brown skinned people? Because I feel like this, like, the topic of colorism is so heavily, like, light skin, dark skin, but then we always forget there's people in the middle, like, brown skin.
Sure.
That's
You know,
what's so
blackness
tough
is like a
about judging.
gradient.
It's
you
not a
know?
binary either. Like,
Yeah.
I think I read it somewhere, like, black people have the most, like, variations in shades.
Yeah.
So, like, we come literally, like, we have a
In all
wide
shades.
range of what black looks like.
Yeah,
Right.
So.
absolutely.
Okay, well, we're going to toss it to the next segment.
Hey.
The perceived differences of African and African American communities has also divided us. We all heard the many stereotypes of both sides, and it causes a disconnect that has lasted generations. Now, I will speak my truth in the words of Josh.
Hey.
I went to, this African association group that was on campus, and when I went there, I
Call
did
them out
try
by name.
the ASA.
ASA, SCSU.
They're gonna see this, at SCSU. And I did have a conversation. I was trying to, talk about the indifferences and injustices of black people, and they kind of looked at me like, "You're not black enough," and I was like,
I've seen them do that.
"Yeah, were you there?"
I wasn't there, but I've been to a couple meetings, and I don't know. They've never like necessarily like said anything, but like
But it's
I don't
that
know.
approach.
They kind of look at you like you're sort of like less. They're like like you don't belong. Like
Right.
like Africa straight only. like yeah.
Yeah, and so I would say that when I had that experience, I had to clap back for a second. Okay, had to tap the mic that they gave me. I was like, all right, settle down. But
Damn.
I said my point, and I also said, I am viewed as black by by the oppressor. So when that being said, I personally was just like, we're all trying to be united to each other, and I wanted us to come together. But Natalia, as an African sister,
Okay.
speak your truth.
Shout out your country first.
Yeah.
Tanzania.
We
I rep
always
the
hear.
east side. No, but
Rebel.
I think the biggest thing with the whole African versus African American thing is literally just like not knowing. I think a lot of people fail to realize that Africans, it's kind of like, when we talk about white people and they only really see what we do from TV, and that's their perspective of us. It's the same thing with people in Africa. When I was growing up, all I knew about America was from TV. And so that's what I thought until I came here. I made new friends, but it's also about open-mindedness too. And I feel like another thing is that with that, I feel like ASA, it's almost like a safe space for Africans, because you have to keep in mind, being an African coming to America, we've had our ups and downs too. We've been called African booty scratchers. Yep. We got all sorts of mean comments growing up. So I feel like as a safe space, that's what they kind of feel like, it's like their space, but they shouldn't have done that at the same time, because we are one. And I think that's what, the man wants us to think, is that we're not the same, but we are exactly the same. There's things that unite us, but we also have our differences, but that's okay. That's like any human being, Right. So I feel like that's the biggest thing for me, is just recognizing that, like, we're not any different. It's just that African Americans, they got stolen from their land, They're just our brothers and sisters across the sea.
Right. So what would you say to the fellow African that kind of, takes that hurt and like kind of brushes it off on, African Americans, and kind of gives that like, you're not like us type of vibe? What would you say?
I would say just stop being rude. You weren't raised like that. I know you weren't raised like that. That's absolutely not right. Especially as Africans, I like to believe that we have a really welcoming culture. I don't really know a country in Africa where you'll go there and they'll kind of like not welcome you and accept you with open arms. So I feel like we should reflect that everywhere that we go, because like I said, they're our brothers and our sisters. You should be nice to people, period. But then especially people who like, people who have had a history like that and really just want to like know where they're from, know their roots. That's a right that we have, but that's not a right that they have. And I feel like it's wrong for us to kind of like, shame them for that,
Josh, I saw you making faces over there. So do you have any counteract or anything?
I mean, I don't disagree with like the most. Yes, I mean, to kind of sum that all up, we're more alike than we are different.
Yeah, for sure.
That's just the bottom line. But I think for me growing up, I was lucky enough to grow up in like the inner city. I grew up in St. Paul, east side of St. Paul. Shout out to y'all.
East.
So like down there, like it's really diverse. Like we have people of literally every country. So I was able to from a young age really encounter like a lot of different like nationalities and people from different backgrounds. But like I think my experience, like my whole perception on this issue changed when I got to college. Like when I was meeting, because we have like a lot of foreign exchange students and everything. So like when I was meeting some people and I told them, they would ask me like, oh yeah, where are you from? Like what country? What do you rep? And I'm just like, I'm from St. Paul, dude. Like, I'm not, I don't know where I'm from, And so like, I remember my freshman year, I was at like a party with one of my friends, and he's from Burundi. So I was like, and they were all speaking French and everything. And I'm just like, I don't know. And then so like they all treated me like different, like an outsider from that point on. So like I remember from that point on, I wanted to know exactly where I was from. And unfortunately, like when I tried to do all the research, I couldn't find out where I was from. So it's like, I just think there's like a lot of hypocrisy in like when we talk about this topic, because it's like we always talk about like we're a unified front, but then in action but I'm still better than you, or you're still an African booty scratcher. There's not like I don't think the conversation is productive if we're not going to be real about it, you know?
Absolutely.
Sure.
So Josh, you said you're African American, right?
Yeah.
But do you still feel like, you feel welcome in there? You feel like nobody ever kind of...
So at first, no. So my freshman year, I remember I went and I just didn't feel welcome at first. But from passing and from being on boards for other organizations, I've built relationships with them.
Yeah.
So like when I go in there, I'm greeted. I'm like, even though they know like, yeah, Josh he doesn't know where he's like from as far as like a specific African nation, they know like I'm still cool. We've been able to build a relationship. Yeah. So I would say my experience is a little bit different. But once I broke that barrier, I think I love the organization. So.
For sure. So I think that all we got to do is break the barrier and definitely come together. Well, everybody wants to be black when it's time to be black.
Yeah.
But in today's world, it's important to be original. But what happens when you claim someone else's style, looks, and culture as your own? We've all heard of cultural appropriation, but how willing are we to call out our favorite celebrities on their faults? All right, Natalia, name a celebrity that you know is a culture vulture.
I was thinking about this today. Katy Perry. A lot of people don't call out Katy Perry, but she is a culture vulture. She really is. She always be wearing kimonos, little chapstick in her hair. Like, Katy, no, you can't do that. And my thing is, okay, personally for me, because I come from a different culture, and I feel like I don't really have a problem with people embracing my culture. I just have a problem when they embrace it and then they take it as their own and claim it as their own.
Right.
Kind of like Kim Kardashian with those braids.
Box braids.
They was like, oh, they're boxer braids. I was like, those are cornrows, sis. Like, we've been had those. So like that's personally where the problem comes in for me, is like not necessarily that you're like wearing them or that you're doing these things. It's that you're doing them and then you're taking them as your own and completely discrediting the years that like black people been doing them,
Facts. Josh, do you know any male celebrities that are culture vultures?
Man, you're not going to like this one. Drake is low-key one.
Ooh, champagne poppy.
Champagne?
No.
Facts. No, it's
true.
It's a fact. Like,
it's true.
And we haven't really been holding him accountable because he makes a little club, little hits.
Because it's Drake.
But it's Drake. But I mean, there's no way that a man from Canada should be trying to do Jamaican themed albums. And he made a hit off of bounce music. Nice for what? It's like, bro, you're from Canada, my guy. Like,
oh my God.
and he's shouting out Houston in every song. Now shouting out Calabasas. It's like, bro, you're not like that.
You're supposed to be shouting out the 666.
The 6. And you know what's crazy? Like he be showing love to everybody else but people from Toronto. Like
isn't that weird?
He doesn't really talk about Party Next Door no more. He doesn't talk about.
Hold on, Party Next Door. My man, Party Next Door, is on a hiatus, and don't look at me like that.
He don't,
coming out.
But he don't be putting them on like that. He don't like him and Tory was going through a big beef.
Yeah,
like,
I remember that.
Y'all know what's his name? Him and The Weeknd had their little fallout, whatever. Like
the only Canadian he's cool with is Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber is a whole different.
That's a culture vulture, and I know Courtney is listening. Yes, girl, your man is a culture vulture.
But I think an important thing to talk about in this discussion about culture vultures also is like knowing the difference between race and ethnicity too is really important in this discussion. You can be black, but like black and like African American, black, and Afro Latino, black and African are like different things. You know, my skin is black, I'm African. Your skin is black, you're African American. Your skin is black, you're Afro Latino. And I think that that's like a really important thing because sometimes people really like to forget. Like Cardi B, people are calling Cardi B a culture vulture. She's black. She's just Afro Latina.
She's black. I thought she was all the way Latina.
I thought she was Afro Latina.
Cause
I think she's her mom's Trinidad or something like that, and somebody.
Cause I didn't like her saying the N-word. I ain't gonna lie to you.
A lot of people didn't.
I was like, whoa.
It feels weird just because I think it's because her skin is lighter, kind of going back to the colorism thing. But I do think that she is Afro Latina. I consider her Afro Latina.
We can fact check that. I didn't think she was black. I didn't think she was black because I was like, because every time the N-word was coming up, I was like, look, shorty.
Because if she's not, if she's not black, then that's another thing. But I feel I genuinely thought that she was black and Afro Latina, and people are just saying, "Oh, you're Latina, you're not African American, so like you can't say that word." I'm like, that's not how it works.
The thing is, though, with Cardi B, though, she was calling black women roaches. You know,
that
so
is a different thing.
It's
though.
one
that's
thing
that's
where it's
like
like you're doing that, and obviously we let that go over our heads. But you know, when the feud with Nicki, she let everybody, reminded everybody that happened.
That happened. Yeah.
So with Cardi, it's like, okay, obviously, if you are Afro-Latina, you are lighter skinned, so you definitely gotta let people know that, hey, I'm Afro-Latina, yes. And her coming out the gate saying the N-word and then saying black women are roaches, it was kind of tough for me.
No,
so
I see that one. I
definitely see why, Josh, you had a problem with saying the N-word.
Yeah.
All right, Savannah, who's your culture vulture of the day?
Okay, I'd say there are two that I've been thinking about a lot because they've been kind of coming up. But Iggy Azalea, because she had just came out with that new song.
Miss Ellie Walker.
And
I don't even know the name
what's
of the song.
her name? The Catch Me Outside.
Bad
Barbie,
babe.
Yeah, whatever.
Can we talk about how she's 16?
Yeah, she don't look 16.
And mess with Rich the Kid.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. And she don't look 16.
She does not look 16.
What does that mean?
It means
she looks older than
she is developed.
Here we
Okay, Josh, that is not what I meant.
Did you
He's going to get thrown in prison.
That is not what I meant.
I know. Who said that? Wait, I didn't say that. I didn't say I was messing with her. No, I didn't say I was messing with her. But I'm saying
it's weird that she's 16 and she looks that grown.
If she came to me and told me she was 20, I'd believe her.
Well, she's famous and you can fact check that, so no.
She's famous?
Well,
I mean,
I would. She's making a lot of money for just telling her mom.
if there was like, if let's say the internet didn't exist, okay,
I wish it did.
People would believe that she was like older than she is. She literally looks so much older than she is.
That's all I'm saying.
You can kind of tell when people are younger by the way they talk and the way they move and
that's
the
true.
way
That's
the
true.
way they carry. You can tell when somebody's
Yeah.
younger because she talks like she's 12.
Josh, you better be asking people for
Yes.
some ID.
Yeah.
Chill. No,
You're a 22-year-old.
Yeah, you're about to.
You about to catch a case.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
But y'all need to worry about y'all man Drake because he out here messing with kids.
You're right. You're Millie Bobby
Guys,
Brown. Millie Bobby Brown. So
that was weird.
you're not wrong
That
there.
was
You're not
weird.
wrong
And
there.
that one girl that he was. The
Yeah,
model,
no, Drake's
she's
taste in women is very different. I'm just gonna put that out there. He's too
Okay.
famous.
Very
He's too
different.
famous to be doing what he be doing.
Drake just need to wait for me, so I just need him to wait for me.
Okay. All right.
All right. Well, I'm trying to think of my culture vulture of the day. Kim Kardashian hits the cake. You know
What about Ariana
Kylie,
Grande?
Ariana
Ariana
Grande.
Grande.
She's a good one.
She is a
she's
culture
definitely
vulture. I don't
debatable.
Stepping on
care.
that border.
I don't
Yeah.
care. How did her skin get this dark when she's grown? But on Victoria, she was pale. We did
Pale.
not
With
forget.
red hair.
Vampire pale.
Yes,
yeah.
we did not forget Ariana. First of all, her last name isn't even Grande, bro. It's Grandi. She's Italian.
No, but you know,
My whole life has been a lie.
But as a community, we turn our shoulder to some of the stuff. Like, didn't we just let Jennifer Lopez do a Motown tribute?
Oh my God, Jennifer
That
Lopez, I hate
What
her.
if she done for the community? Like, she's literally only dated Diddy. That's the only thing she's done black in her whole life.
And she says the N-word.
She does
said
it.
no.
Yes.
She says the N-word.
Her first
In her
song.
song. No, but you know what I found out? She didn't even sing that song. It was Ashanti that sang
All
that
of her
song.
songs are
Ashanti
by black
sang that.
women.
No, Ashanti sang
y'all
that
gonna
song,
cancel
and
her,
she
though?
said the
I'm
N-word
canceling
in
her.
the song.
I'll cancel
That's
her.
what I found out.
All right, so officially J-Lo is canceled. And
Canceled?
Good to know.
We're gonna go
Yeah.
to our
Canceled
next
on live air.
break.
I didn't say that.
Since my best friend killed it last week, Courtney 2 Chainz is back at it again,
Two
slaying
Chainz.
y'all in sports. Courtney and her panel will be talking about the Final Four in Minneapolis. After their analysis on who will take it all, they got more for you after the break.
All right, folks, welcome back. With me here now, we got
Kamal.
All right.
Hey, Josh Kyle reporting live, man.
Hello.
Paris Howell.
What it do? What it do? All right, we're going to kick it off right here. So brackets have been broken as March Madness continues into the Final Four with the remaining teams of Auburn, Texas Tech, Michigan State, and Virginia. With Auburn being the new fan favorite after Duke's devastating loss, the tournament continues to heat up. As the competition tightens up, the stage gets bigger and the margin of error is shortened.
Hey.
Who do you guys have winning it all? I'm going to start off with you, Mr. Paris.
Man, give me Virginia.
Give you VA?
In order to win games, you got to shoot and play defense, and they got both. Kyle Guy, strap out this earth. So I mean, I got Virginia right now.
Okay, Virginia, what you think?
I'm gonna have to take Michigan State. Like we were just talking before.
concur.
I just think it's gonna be their year, man. Like we were just talking about, everybody plays defense, but I don't know. I just got that feeling. I think Michigan gonna take it.
I got that feeling too. I think it's Izzo's year, Josh. I know.
I mean, so in one of my brackets, I did pick Michigan State. So for that bracket, I mean, I hope they win. But I think if I had to put money down, like I think they all have a legit shot. But if I had to put money down, I probably would say Virginia, just because they play
talking about.
They play 8-9 deep. They got a few legit scorers on their team. They got rim protection. They play defense. Like they really get in there. Like I don't know, but it's a toss up though. Like literally all 4 teams have a legit shot.
Okay, so who coming out the championship? Or who's in the championship? Who you got going to get to? Obviously Virginia, and who else?
Virginia, Michigan State.
Michigan
Yeah,
State.
that's gonna be a game. That'll be a game.
But I still like Texas Tech though.
I know
still
they
like
right there. They came up
like
out the
Texas Tech.
woodwork.
I don't know. It's a Cinderella story.
I think they're the only
Definitely.
team up there with no top 100 recruits.
Exactly.
I like that.
It's gonna be rocking.
Yeah.
It's gonna be rocking in there. I wanted to go. I seen the
Them tickets.
The nosebleeds.
I was like
$400.
I said, who coming out their wallet with that kind of money? Because that show,
$400.
I mean, but hey, my job, they got their sponsoring tickets. You know, you used to work there. I miss you sometimes.
You doing a drawing?
Listen, I didn't enter in the drawing, and they picked 4 winners, and I was like, wait a minute, I missed the deadline.
Yeah.
They picked 8 winners, 4 for the Final Four, and then 4 for the championship.
Well, I mean,
I'm
I
hurt.
think that. I mean, even if you don't go, I think just being down there, the atmosphere.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be down there regardless. Hello,
The free concert tickets,
Minneapolis.
they sold out in like
What?
an hour. Yeah,
you know it's in Minneapolis?
No.
You're tripping.
We gotta take a trip.
It's in Minneapolis.
Yeah, it's
In U.S. Bank Stadium. You know it's
I'm
going to
down.
be crazy. So Auburn just completely, nobody got Auburn. They lost steam after they
Now
lost
watch,
Truman.
they gonna come out with the dub at the end just because everybody doubted.
I just don't think they have enough like legit scorers on their team. That's just really what it is. I can't put my faith in a team that doesn't have at least one or two solid.
But it's March Madness, man.
It is, but
Anything. I mean, we done seen everything this tournament.
we have.
It's
we
been
seen
so unpredictable.
Carson went crazy. Sheesh.
Who?
I mean, I'm just hating on them because they beat Duke. So that's what it is.
No, I had Michigan State beating Duke. Like
Yeah.
Duke, if they had like at least 2 people off the bench, they would win this tournament.
Yeah,
Facts.
man.
They didn't have no bench.
And
played the starting 5
I'm not really
almost the whole
confident.
game.
We didn't really have a solid big man.
Y'all didn't.
Nah. So,
Y'all didn't. Bowman was the
where
best y'all had. He went down. It was
I mean, it is what it is, man. I just
Delorier.
Delorier, he nice, he not what's up. He
That's
more of a
not
power
it.
forward.
He's not it, bro.
All right. Next year for Duke. We'll see. All right. So in response to heavy scrutiny after the Rams and Saints NFL divisional game, the NFL owners approved a rule that allows coaches to review offensive and defensive pass interference calls. Coaches can now challenge pass interference calls and non-calls in the first 28 minutes of each half, and the final 2 minutes will be subject to a booth review. Do you guys see the change benefiting the NFL, or is it going to hurt the game? Come out.
Well, just starting out with this season when they had the quarterback rules where you couldn't land on the quarterback, I feel like it's putting too much into the game. I mean, obviously, with me being a fan, you're going to love it when it's on your side, and you're going to hate it when it's not. So, I kind of just got to, I don't know. I think they're putting too much into the game. So, I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work out. I don't see it being positive at all, honestly.
I don't think so either, Josh. What you think?
I'm gonna be 100. I don't really love it. I knew it was going to happen just because of the way everybody was talking about it. But
Michael Thomas.
Yeah,
He was
for
going
real.
crazy.
He was going nuts.
Man.
But
T-shirts, everything.
I seen a stat. They said that the average penalty yards for the four is 15.2 yards. So it's like every time you throw that flag out there, that's 15 yards that your team is going to get. So I see it. The only thing I don't like about it really is the fact that you have to use your challenge flag for it.
Like, what's the point? What's the
Yeah,
point
so
of the challenge then?
it's like, come on now, like you should be able to get that call right in the beginning. So I understand like the booth reviews, I like that, but as a coach, I still wouldn't be 100% satisfied. I still got to throw my challenge flag out there because you didn't want to make a call or you made a bad call.
As a defensive player, though, like you think about it, like now everything that you do, you know, you guarded somebody, you one-on-one with your man, everything that you do is going to be subjected to a pass interference. Like under a microscope.
I mean, but that's where sports are going now. We want to see offense. Like, that's what sells tickets. Like, we want to see offenses go crazy.
We sure? Because I don't like shootout games. Like,
I mean, yeah.
Think about it. That
38 to
Chiefs
42,
and Patriots game, back in like week 8 or something?
Yeah.
I mean, that was a shoot. Oh, no, that was entertaining. Let me stop. Actually, I like that. That was
No,
entertaining. That was pure entertainment. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
If you're a cheer for one of those teams or like your team, then you probably don't want to see it like that. Right. But like as just a fan, that game was lit.
That game was lit.
That game was lit. So I think like defensive battles aren't the biggest thing. Like look at the Super Bowl we just had.
Oh, that was dry. You're
Exactly.
Real.
We want to see these big plays.
At the same time, though, we do like having, big hits and, good defenders and stuff. And so, like, they're just playing under a microscope now. So I feel like it's tough.
But listen, though, at the end of the day, if you think about this, too, it might not benefit, the coaches and the players, but it's going to benefit the NFL. One, because it's going to slow the game down tremendously. And then more TV time means more money in the NFL pockets,
It's a business.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, they might just go the money route, But, I mean.
That's what they've been trending towards. Anyway.
After that call, you got to kind of see it coming. Bro, it was so bad, man.
That call hurt.
I was
still
watching
mad.
it live, and I'm like,
y'all kidding me?
Ain't no flag.
The thing about that was they made it seem like they lost the game because of that one penalty. Like the rest, if you watch the game, the rest missed a lot of calls that game. Like Jared Goff, he should have had a couple touchdowns that he got face masked on. He got late hit a couple times. So it was like, the refs weren't good that game, but that was just ridiculous.
But that was
ridiculous.
That
was out of line.
Is, what I'm saying, what you playing for. It's a momentum game. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So when you get the spirit knocked out of you, it's
them
over.
calls kill the whole momentum of the game, man.
But I'm gonna say this as a Minnesota Vikings fan, karma is a you know what. It's a you know what because that was a 10-year anniversary too of y'all messing up my guy Brett Favre and that bounty gate. So guess what? Guess what? That's why y'all not gonna win no more rings too.
That was
y'all can sign all of our old players all you want. Ain't nothing gonna happen. That's all I gotta say about it.
Josh mad, so we're going to move on here. So word caught fire around the NBA when it was announced that LeBron James will be sitting out the rest of the season. In 55 games this season, Bron averaged 27 points, 8 boards, and 8 assists. In recent reports, LeBron was not fully healthy from his groin injury when he returned, and team medics and staff had to convince James to shut down his season. Y'all, is this a smart move, or is it another move that hurts the team chemistry even more? I'm looking at you, Paris. I'm looking at you.
As far as this whole him sitting out thing, I think it's going to hurt their chemistry. You see where their chemistry is at right now. My man's sitting at the end of the bench.
Non-existent.
He not, he not really being the leader that they need him to be. So, honestly, as far as him sitting out, I don't think that's a smart move. But, I mean, at the end of the day, they did make the playoffs. So, he don't really have much else to play for but to get ready for next season. So, I mean
the Lakers busted as a whole right now. Like, everybody injured. Like, I mean, what's the – I see it like this. What's the point of playing him if he going at the risk of injury, I mean, I know ain't nobody really going hard at the end of the season, get ready for postseason, but still, like, you don't want to risk it. I don't know. What you got to say, Kamal?
This season was just terrible for the Lakers. I mean, with Bron getting hurt, I thought everything was going well up until that point.
Right.
Of course, I knew they was going to drop down in the rankings. I mean, you playing in the West. But when he came back, and I mean, the whole Anthony Davis thing with the Pelicans feeling like they getting bullied, and everything got messed up. Like, I mean, them young dudes, they understand it's a business, but they still young. So with them hearing all this, like they, talking about just sweeping whole house for this one player, that's an ego thing. So, and then, how many you was talking about just how it kind of seemed a little soft that it came out that, you know,
I
LeBron
was
wasn't
gonna
fully
say.
healthy. And so
Soft,
should have
yeah,
been,
soft.
what was it, 6 months? He should have been out, or 3 months, something like
They
that.
said 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, so it's just with Bron being in his 16th year, I feel like, shutting it down, just washing the whole season, because nothing good came from this season for the Lakers.
Nothing at all. And I know, Josh, you talked about, you know, how you called it soft or whatever, that
It was
they could have
soft.
just kept it.
Yeah, it
So,
was-
speak on that. Speak on
Under
that.
wraps.
Well, I just think, man, I think the reason why that report came out is because when he came back, when he activated playoff mode, they still wasn't doing it. Like, if playoff mode would have went crazy and we had like that 8-7 seed, that everybody would be like, oh, okay, cool. LeBron wouldn't have said nothing.
Right.
But because they kept losing, because the chemistry kept getting worse, then the report came out to make it seem like, oh, well, LeBron did what he was supposed to do. He's this big tough guy now, and it's like, nah, I'm not hearing that.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie though. I ain't gonna lie. That report coming out could have benefited Bron either way, because they either gonna make the excuse for him that he was hurt the whole time, and then that's why they wasn't playing up to par, or if they would have actually went somewhere and did something, and then that report would have came out, they would have been, Bron, he was hurt and he was doing this while he was
Still
hurt.
did all that. He to go.
You know they eat up LeBron.
You know what? That's what y'all.
Would you say that that narrative that it's always someone else's fault, do you think that's going to affect Bron's legacy in the end?
Yes. Yes.
Let me speak for me. I honestly do. Like, and I love LeBron, but it's always something. It's always this didn't happen, or that person didn't do that, or
My
my
coach
team,
this.
my coach. You
We
know,
don't
it
have
always
playmakers
comes. The
this.
front office then give me this,
We're
and
not
then give me
drafting
that.
the right players.
It's gonna hurt him to a certain
Altitude.
extent, you know. And you going.
Cramps, all
All
that.
right, put the
Come
clamps
on,
on it. You
cramps.
going.
Man.
But I mean, to a certain extent, it's definitely gonna hurt his legacy. Like, you know, when you get to argue with, somebody years down the road, it's always somebody gonna bring up, but LeBron said this, or LeBron blamed so and so, and it's like, dang, you can't get into a legit LeBron argument, or LeBron is the GOAT argument, without bringing up him blaming other people.
I mean,
and
don't get it
blaming
wrong.
things.
LeBron's always, if he's not your top 3 all time, then you don't know what
You
you're talking
tripping,
about.
right? Yeah,
But
you know.
just the injury thing, and not playing a full season. I mean, when you think about it, back in the '80s, I mean, Bird was out there with his back dang near
Bird
broken.
was
They was
balling.
playing
You know
82
what I'm
games.
saying? Yeah.
They was
But that
playing
was
82.
different. That was an error. That was an error.
They
I
was
wouldn't even
playing
lie
82.
for it.
If we was
Exactly.
0-81, we was gonna play that last game.
And y'all seen how they did Jordan, the bad boys, before he put a little bit more muscle on.
Exactly.
He was getting worked out there.
Man.
So I think that's definitely gonna do a little something to it.
So what do you guys think the Lakers got to do moving forward?
Gotta get some shooters around Bron.
They got to, I think, a complete rebuild. Some pieces got to move, and some pieces got to come in.
They got a bunch of role players right now. Like, they don't really have a secondary scorer that's really going to put that ball in the bucket. Brandon Ingram, he was iffy, kind of, and now he's hurt.
They got to get healthy.
Exactly.
Lonzo's he gotta go. He
think he out?
don't like it there. His confidence. I mean, okay, if Luke goes, then Lonzo should stay. But if they don't get rid of Luke, then
Luke
Lonzo
is not the problem. The thing about everyone's like missing is like the team is just young. They got a young team,
Yeah, they young.
young
No, yeah.
coach,
And they're
young
injured.
front
They're
office.
constantly injured.
Magic don't know what he's doing. He's still doing everything. Like,
He be on that.
listen, I don't know. Magic gotta go.
Man, I know.
Magic gotta go.
He be on Magic Hill.
No, Magic gotta go, bro. But it's like they gotta make a decision this summer. They're gonna be like, all right, look, they gotta sit everybody down. Are we really gonna trade these people, or are we gonna move forward with them? Because you need to instill that confidence in them. Like, if I'm coming to a team and I know that they're trying to get rid of me, and my coach might be getting fired, and everybody's looking at LeBron like we was all good before you came. Like, I'm not finna be confident. You feel me? So I was like,
feel it.
like this summer, I would go to Magic if I was like Lonzo, Ingram, Kuzma. Like, look, are y'all gonna trade me or not? If y'all are, just go ahead and get it over with. There's no sense in carrying this over for another year. Like,
feel it.
whatever team y'all start with next year, that's the team y'all should finish with.
I feel it. I mean, well, we're going to wait till next season to see off season to see what the Lakers do here.
They gonna
So
stink
we'll
it
be
up
right
some
back
more.
with my best friend Janselyn with our
Hey.
segment, the wrap up. You better not touch that remote or mouse.
1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes. That means it could be you, your favorite brother, your other brother. You, your boss, your boss's boss. You, your barber, your barber's barber.
Nice work. Thanks.
Or you, your co-pilot, your co-pilot's co-pilot. With early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
All right, welcome back. to our segment, The Wrap Up, as we give you our final thoughts on things we think you should know. And right now we got a couple of new faces. Go ahead, Kimberly Gomez.
Hi, my name is Kimberly Gomez, and I'm the current meteorologist for UTVS.
Hey.
Okay.
Give us
Now,
some weather reports. Good.
As we're wrapping up today's show, we just wanted to shine some light on SCSU's very own hip-hop and contemporary dance group, Dynasty. Check out this feature on Jonica Nixon, one of the Dynasty's co-founders, by our very own Courtney Chaney.
I want to pass it along, like, it's okay to not be this. This is not the main image for ballet, or this is not the main image for hip-hop.
For many people, dance is just a hobby or a pastime. But for Jonica Nixon, it's so much more than that. It's a lifestyle.
Dance for me means a way to just express yourself. I'm not like the most vocalist person in the world, I would say. But I express myself through my speaking, through my dancing.
So baby, just let it go. I want you, you want me.
While expressing herself through her dancing comes easy to her now, that wasn't always the case. She had to face a lot of hardships to find her voice.
You know, this is hard. It's really hard to be the only one, of color.
The biggest challenge that she faced was being the only black girl in her dance group.
I even had some racial issues where, people would call me out my name behind my back, and my mom would hear about it, and she would have to explain to me at a very young age, like they don't mean that.
Dancing at an early age was not easy for Jonica. There were times where she felt like she had to change the way she talked or wore her hair to fit in with others.
It was a struggle, but I learned to get through it.
When she finally felt confident enough, she was hit with another hardship: injury.
When I injured myself, my doctor was like, you've been dancing since you were 3. It might be okay to take a break. And then my break turned out to be done.
Instead of moping about her dancing career being over, she looked at it as a positive. She was able to reinvent herself.
Like, I'm an antsy person. If anyone knows me, I have to be doing stuff 24/7. So that first year of me not dancing, my body was even like, girl, what you know? So I had to stop. It was crazy, but I had to find other things to do. So I was like, you know what? Even though I can't really dance anymore, I can still teach. So I started teaching at many dance studios here in Minnesota, and then I started my own organization with a good friend of mine, Sakina Marie.
Jonica and her friend Sakina Marie formed the group Dynasty in 2016. Since then, the group's popularity has grown not only here at St. Cloud State, but across Minnesota as well. Dynasty's success and popularity caught Jonica by surprise, but she is forever grateful for it. When all is said and done, Jonica wants people to remember her by this.
I want to leave love. I want everyone to just love each other, no matter who you are, gender background, culture background. I just want everyone to really come together as one and just always remember that we're only stronger together.
That was really dope. Dynasty has a showcase coming up April 8th at 7 p.m. and it's free, y'all. Hope to see you there. Now, as a former Dynasty member, Jerron, what made you want to join Dynasty?
Well, I am a current member.
Current? He said
yes, okay, sorry. Current member.
Uh-huh. Yes, I'm a current member of Dynasty. I've been a part of Dynasty for about 3 years. So
yes,
I've been on the board since the beginning.
Oh.
Dynasty started in 2016 by Jonica and Sakina Marie. And so as far as now, it's me and Chantel and Ashton and Jonica. And we are the 4 original members, still running the board, and Jonica's graduating, and then after that, it's me and Chantel and Ashton.
Running the show.
Yeah.
Running the show. So are you taking the baton, or?
Hopefully, that's my plan.
That's your
my plan is to be the president.
Okay.
Yes.
Goals. Courtney, talk to me about, your best friend Jonica and what made you want to do the future.
Oh my God. Well, Jonica and Sakina, like he said, they formed this group back in like 2016. And I just really wanted to shine some light on, Dynasty, get the word about them out around SCSU and just, to Facebook friends and family as well. So I was like, Jonica, let's sit down, let's do this. And she was more than eager. If you know Jonica, she's willing to, promote Dynasty in the group because that's her baby. Like, she loves it. And you know, in the future you can see, you know, after she was injured from being on the dance team and then, you know, had to sit out for a while, she loves to teach. So that's her thing. And, you know, I'm excited. And I was there for Dynasty when you did the
everybody
Beyonce,
mad.
everybody mad choreography. Man, I was sweating
bullets.
But yeah, that was it. So yeah, you know, I'm gonna see you.
Kimberly, so do you know about Dynasty or?
I've heard about Dynasty from a couple girls, and actually, I was planning on joining just because I want to see what it's like, you know.
You ain't gonna be disappointed, I tell you that.
I'm pretty sure I won't be, but yeah, I've heard about it, and I know that it's a group dance here in SCSU. But I'm gonna have to check it out one of these days. Come to practice or something.
Twerk
yeah. Well, I gotta learn how to twerk first in order to do that.
I got you.
Everybody's open to it.
All right, well, let's get on to our new shining star of the culture. I want to welcome everyone, Kimberly Gomez, to the culture. This is her debut, y'all. So let's give her a warm welcome.
Yes.
She is a new member, and so let's talk about, you know, your meteorology. How did you become a meteorologist?
Well, I'm originally from New Mexico.
Wow.
I transferred from New Mexico to Minnesota, so you know the weather's a
Weather's
lot
big.
different from here than over there. And when I first came, I was really excited about the snow and all that craziness. Nobody warned me it was going to be this crazy, right? But yeah, so I originally started wanting to do meteorology when I was little. I'll kind of give you a little backstory. When I was smaller, when I would come from elementary school, my mom would always have like snacks ready for me. And back then there was this meteorologist, and my mom watches soap operas and like the, you know, Latin channels. And I would sit down and watch her, and I'd be just so amazed at how good she was. And I was just like, I knew I wanted to be on TV. I just didn't know what. And I had a passion for weather, so I said, put one and one together, and
connect.
Then I decided to just major in meteorology. So.
Okay, well, after getting a little background of you, let's check out her weather report earlier today at UTVS.
So we do continue to be in this flood warning, which we will get rid of it for this Wednesday. But for now, some of these areas include St. Cloud, Minneapolis, and up in Brainerd up north as well. You know, take precautions if you do come across these floods. As the warmer weather continues to hit Minnesota, then those flood areas continue to increase.
So, Kimberly, after seeing that amazing forecast, how true is it going to be?
It's pretty accurate, let me tell you.
Okay.
Well, you know, weather changes every minute, every second of the day, so it can, I mean, it's accurate as much as I want it to be. But if you have plans for this weekend, there will be rain, so do not go outside because we do have a 50% chance of rain this Sunday. So it's going to be pretty intense. But other than that, clear skies for tomorrow, a sunny and beautiful day. So if you have anything planned, do it tomorrow.
All right, so any inspirational words that you can give to any, you know, person of color or woman that wants to be a meteorologist?
I think us as women, we tend to be scared of following our dreams. But I feel like with hard work and dedication, anything is possible for men and women of color, women of any color actually. And so that has been my motto for moving and transferring schools and doing what I want to do, is just following my dreams and working hard towards it, because nobody can tell me I cannot do anything in life.
Okay, speak your truth.
Speak your truth. Heart.
Yes, so
all right,
that would be it.
That was your debut. How does it feel?
It feels wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you.
No problem. Well, everyone, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us here on UTVS, The Culture. And I also want to give out a shout out to my father. I love you so much.
Papa Huff.
It's his birthday. He loves to say it's my favorite day. It's not, but it is. I love you so much, and happy birthday.
Aww. Happy birthday, Mama. Love you.
Happy birthday, Papa.
Yes, and Cheney mother. Okay.
My grandfather's birthday was yesterday, though.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to the place where we show you our culture. All right. Have a good night. See you same time, same place.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.